Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
I hope you're doing very well. Derek and I decided to do a little video. Bear with us as we work out any quirks. This is
your first time.
very funny. We decided, Derek and I are always talking back and forth about what we want to write about next on standblue.com, and we both very much appreciate you following us on that. So we decided this time that you probably would like a full update of what is happening with this young man right here. So we decided to just go straight to video and give you an update on how Derek's been feeling and how our lives have changed in the last year.
So, first off, I want to thank everyone for subscribing to the blog and contributing. It really means a lot to us. Obviously, the first thing you notice is my speech. So it takes a lot for me to talk, and I really have to slow down, which for those of you who know me, is really hard to do.
Yes. So, and for those of you who have read the blog, and for those of you who are just plugging in now, Derek was diagnosed with ALS last May. He's been symptomatic for close to 2 years now, and probably in October, Derek got what we thought was actually just a really significant cold, and he lost some of his voice, like you or I would when we have a cold, and his voice never came back. And then since October, and today we are in July, we are in July, Derek has lost close to 60% of his voice, along with about 30% of his respiratory function as well. So breathing is a little bit of a challenge at this point, along with things that go with breathing, like eating and sleeping.
And
drinking. But Derek is amazing. But the day-to-day transition and change has been pretty significant. We have so many things that have happened to us in the last year. Before we started this video, Derek and I sat down and tried to decide what to share with you. Now, for family and friends who are close to us and are in our day-to-day, oh my goodness, I mean, what to even say about them? The food, the childcare, the love, the compassion, the constant checking in, the rides, the fun. There's so many of you, and probably over the course of the next few months on Stand Blue, we are probably going to be talking about you, and hopefully that does not embarrass you. We didn't know which direction to go. It's too many and too much love. But we do have a few really big things that have happened in the last year that we feel we would really like to share with you. Some of you know, and so bear with us. And for those of you who don't, where should we start?
So,
well, where do you want to go with it? So one of the biggest things that's happened, as you can maybe see behind us, for those of you who have been in our house, I'll say our house, quotes, that's... So this is not our house. This is our friend Christine's house. Derek and I, for 9 years, lived in a townhouse and about right after Derek was diagnosed, one of my office managers, whose name is Christine. Hi, Christine. I know. It had to happen. She is a real living angel amongst us, everybody, really special. And she has this beautiful home that had handicap accommodations in it already. And one of the things that we were instructed by the neurologists during Derek's diagnosis was that we would need to move into a handicap accessible home as soon as possible. And our kids are 5 and 7 now. And, you know, you've all moved before, and it's a huge undertaking. And to put that on top of everything else that we were mentally trying to wrap our brains around it seemed like just too much. And Christine entered into the equation and offered her home up to us when we needed it. So a couple of months ago, Derek's condition started to change quite a bit with his breathing, and also Derek is almost completely wheelchair bound at this point, which we'll talk about, right? He is still able to get up and down a bit on his own, but his primary means of mobility are wheelchair. So Christine's house is large and beautiful and has a lot of accommodations. So about, 5 weeks? 6 weeks ago, we had an amazing entourage of close to 30 people who helped us move into Christine's house, and Christine moved into our house. And thank you very much to all of you who were there that day as well. And we're still unpacking and getting situated, but there's a lot of things that have made all of our lives easier and made Derek be able to get around and be part of our family more. In our townhouse, things were a pretty typical townhouse, a little bit more restricted, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Christine. You've given us a gift that has no words to say thank you. Yes? Okay. Come visit us, okay? All right. It's a big one.
I want to thank Ron and his amazing team at Compassion Care ALS. They are unbelievable in the support that they've given us, whether it's been with helping us navigate all of the behind the scenes stuff, or like getting equipment to us. It's been unbelievable. So Ron, thank you so much.
So Ron, his name is Ron Hoffman, and he runs an organization that is based out of Falmouth called Compassionate Care ALS. And Ron is a special human being and has a pretty incredible team and has literally dedicated his lives, Ron has dedicated his life to making our lives make a little bit more sense and simplified. And the thing that I appreciate the most about it is that they're incredibly honest and upfront and focusing on preparing Derek and myself and my kids for what is coming down the pike, which is a challenge to do in a graceful way, and he has mastered that, in my opinion. Ron, thank you. That's huge. So that's happened. Ron Hoffman, yes. So I have another big one that I'm going to try not to go on a rant about. So is the school that my children attend. And like any school, you build relationships with the community, with the faculty and the staff and the families. When Derek and I decided to present this situation that has found our family to the outpouring of love and support that came from inside those four walls is beyond imaginable. Not only was it the faculty and staff, but it's been the families. It's been a level of support that is a lot. Now, and the reason that it's so amazing is because it helps Derek and I. And but being at the school has allowed Harper and Arlen, our kids, who are 5 and 7, the ability to maintain their childhood and keep their confidence, and to feel like they're really part of something, and they are part of something incredible. But it is the gifts that we as parents want to continue to give to our children are the same gifts that you want to continue to give to your children, for those of you who have babies. And one of the hardest things for us, and maybe Derek can elaborate on that a little bit more, is keeping their lives consistent and keeping their childhood a childhood. Things get very heavy and hard, and there's a lot of people who our kids consider to be strangers coming in and out of the house, doing different kinds of assessments and equipment or dropping off food and all these things that as adults we appreciate. But to the kids, it's a lot. So for them to have a second home at their school where the families, and so the parents and the kids and the teachers and the staff have wrapped their love around Harper and Arlen in a way that is just unbelievable. We thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's huge, big, gigantic stuff. I think that you might want to say thank you to somebody else. We just have a lot of thank yous. All right, you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you should start.
So, for those of you who don't know, I've been working from home since about March, and here we are in July. So, I want to thank Peter, my boss, and Zoll Medical, and everyone there. It's been unbelievable, the amount of support that I've been getting from my employer, not just upper management, but everyone. Words really can't describe how grateful I am. It's unreal. It's unbelievable.
There's been so many gifts that have been given to Derek and I throughout the course of the last year that we didn't know how to do this video, right? Because now what we're doing is saying thank you to just a very small group of people who have completely changed our lives and made things significantly easier. And I don't know Peter well, Derek's boss, but I will say, as an acupuncturist and as a person who generally tries to be a compassionate and understanding person, there is one thing that is just a gift that some people have in their personality, and it's grace. Peter, Derek's boss, has grace beyond, I mean, it's really impressive. The whole transition when Derek told his boss, right? Am I right? When he told his boss, and how Peter chose to address management and everybody who worked in Derek's department was so graceful, so thoughtful, so compassionate, so empathetic. It was unbelievable. To a point that I wrote him a handwritten letter telling him how much I admired those qualities in him, because it was unbelievable. Anybody as an employer can handle things appropriately and in a way that maybe they should be handled, but he went above and beyond and has been not only an incredible boss, but a friend and a person who has grown to become part of our family. So thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
And thanks, Zoll. Okay, so thank you. I hope that that's interesting. What else do we need to tell them about you? So Derek has had a lot of stuff that has physically gone on. We had already mentioned about his respiratory changes and the wheelchair. Derek did have a fall about a week and a half ago.
Friday the 13th.
Oh, Friday the 13th. Yeah, Friday the 13th. Derek was, at that point, was primarily using a walker to get around the house. For those of you who are familiar with the make and models of the different walkers, Derek was using one of the walkers with wheels, 4 wheels, and had reached out to grab something right before bedtime, actually, and lost his balance completely. He fell and banged his head pretty significantly on the corner of a coffee table. So for us, we've all had traumas and hurt ourselves before. For me, it was my first 911 emergency ambulance situation.
First ride for me.
First ride.
It'll be the only ride.
That's right, buddy. That's right. So it was Derek did great, but it put a lot of things into position for us. One of the things that Ron and his team at Compassionate Care have discussed at length with us is that the falls are a very big deal for people with ALS. And this was Derek's first major fall, and so we have already been able to make some accommodations around the house with changes of equipment and how to use things, make sure that Derek isn't alone and that he has somebody with him to assist him if need be. And so a lot of these things we're producing them and they're working well, but the thoughtfulness and the energy that needs to go into them is pretty involved. Derek is my number one inspiration and the inspiration to pretty much everybody who's around him, right? There he is. He's rocking this. And your support and checking in on me and checking in on Derek or on the kids, even if we're not always wonderful at being punctual with our responses, that love and energy and light coming at us is so important. The last thing that was on my mind is that maybe some of you have caught wind of the fundraiser that is being put on by two of our friends, Lauren and Carrie, and Sandy, there's three women that are putting on this fundraiser, and it's happening on August 12th. Nearby, it's in Chelmsford. There's information. I don't think I have information on here yet. I should put information on here.
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
On either of our pages.
Yes, it is on Facebook. This is true. And you can always send a note to us if you have questions or would like to attend. That would be awesome. So far it seems like we're going to have quite a crowd. We have to keep it down, keep the rowdiness down.
Rowdy.
It's going to get rowdy. So I think that's pretty much...
Wait, what? The trial.
Okay, the trial.
Whoops.
All right, do you want me to tell them?
Yeah.
You go. Okay.
No.
All right, so Derek, we are working with... Derek's Care is primarily at Derek's Care is at Mass General, and we're working with their ALS squad over there, which
Dr. Berry.
Dr. Berry. Oh,
unreal.
Yeah. Really special human beings who not only have dedicated themselves again to this disease and other neurological conditions, but are genuinely amazing people, family people. They get family, and it has made something rather strenuous and difficult relatively joyful. I would like to just give a personal shout out. Joyful. I would like to give a personal shout out to Aileen.
Yes.
Hey, Aileen.
Aileen Shaughnessy.
Aileen works at Mass General, and she's kind of our go-to communicator.
Yeah.
Person we talk to.
Kind of on this trial.
Okay. So one of the... Briefly. So Derek was screened for a trial. With ALS, there are a lot of trials that are always happening. And he was accepted into a specific trial called Brainstorm, which, if you have a moment and you are interested in the medical Google, you can check it out. It's called Brainstorm. And there was a small delay in when the evaluation period was supposed to be done. He was actually supposed to be sort of technically starting up the trial at the end of August, beginning of September, and it was delayed till October. So we're in July now, so we're sort of sitting on our hands, but we are holding on to some hope affiliated with the logistics and the protocol of this particular trial, and hoping that it will get some of Derek's voice back and maybe a little bit more of his mobility or strength to feel confident with his mobility.
Yeah.
But so we're
it's not a cure, but it is. They're so close to figuring this out, and I really believe
it's okay, Papa. You're going to be part of something very important. Is that what you were going to say? You are going to be part of something important. I love you. Just send your love and your light and keep supporting this guy right here and anything that you can do in your own way, right? Is there anything else? Listen, you're crying in front of all these people. We're new to the video thing. Anything else you want to say? Apple pie.